Okay, hello and welcome everyone to the IELTS Civics Network meeting for May 27, 2026. Just a few things of business. Please type your name and agency into the chat box. And if you have not already, please register on the website here, the California Adult Educational Professional Development page. And if you're not receiving a meeting reminder, please email your email address to elcivics@casas.org and we can get you added to that list. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. We're actually going to start with a presentation from our very own Daniel Esko. It's about updated scores for the next program year. And then we have the CDE updates, civic participation in IELCE, citizenship preparation, and then other information. Okay, so like I said, first up is Daniel. Daniel, let me stop sharing, and I think I need to um, let's see, give you permission to share. Okay. I think I clicked the right buttons, Daniel. Can you do it? There we go.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Esko, and I'm the program manager for the test development team here at CASAS. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to go over the scoring change that we'll be implementing in the new program year. This is a change for our goals 2 test series and steps test series, both of them. And it applies only to the levels B through E tests. Specifically, it's a change to the inaccurate score range. That's when students score low on the test and they would normally receive that asterisk score. Okay, so this is in response to the feedback that we've been receiving from the field just about reducing retesting. So we collaborated with Octave, the Department of Ed, about a change that we could make that we think will resolve this for the most part, not completely, but largely. So what we're going to be introducing in the new program year is what we're calling a new lower end estimate score. It will be designated by an open or hollow diamond. This score change will apply to the top of the inaccurate score range, and I'll show that in just a second so you can see it visually. The scores at the very top end will be changed and then have this diamond. They will be reportable scale scores that will be provided and an NRS level classification. Operationally, it's very similar to our conservative estimate scores. Those are the black diamonds that you would see at the top of the test where you can accept the score if you would like to, but if you want to retest, you could do that as well. But I do want to drive home the point that retesting is not required for these new lower end estimate scores. It is an acceptable scale score. So just to illustrate quickly, this is a reading goals 2 level B form. This is the current scoring table. So you can see that if a student were to score 0 through 9, they would get an asterisk instead of a scale score, and they would be required to retest right away if you wanted to get a valid score. We took a look at our data and we saw that 75% of all the tests that would land in this range, this inaccurate range, scoring 0 through 9, 75% of all of those tests land between scores of 7 and 9. So we predict that after this change is made, retesting rates should drop by about 75%, is what we predict. So just to illustrate, right now on this test, you can see a raw score of 10 has a scale score of 204. So that's the lowest score that's currently available on the test. With the change, that'll stay the same. So the scores of 7, 8, and 9 on this particular form will change to a 204 as well, but it will have the hollow diamond next to the 204, indicating that it's the lower end estimate. One difference with the conservative estimate scores is there is a decision that has to be made. So if you decided that you wanted to retest right away. You didn't want to accept that 204 open diamond score. A student would have to be given a testing session to retest, but they would need to move down a level. Since this was level B, they would need to move down to a level A. If you did accept the score, and they then proceed to receive instruction, and then after instruction, you want to post-test them, the next assigned test would say to keep them at this current level. So keep them at level B and just give the parallel test form. Okay, so a little bit of additional information about this change. I know there's a bunch of info on here, but it's all very important. So as I stated, this change will take place from July 1st and going forward. It is not a retroactive change, so tests taken before July 1st will not have this change implemented. We did do a bunch of looking at a lot of different scenarios, and it got a little bit complicated, so we think this will be the most straightforward and cleanest. This does apply to, like I said, our goals 2 and steps tests. In terms of proxied tests, the change will not apply to those proxied tests. So if the test was taken before July 1st and proxied over, it will not have that change implemented. So just be aware of that. If you already have a TAM, we will be providing a PDF of the updated scoring tables. So you don't need to order a new TAM. You'll be able to have that digitally, and you can just print it out if you need it printed. If you do need a new TAM, they will be updated, and you can contact orders@costas.org for that. And if you're an e-test user, it is a seamless change, so it will just be applied July 1st and going forward, and will be all automatic. And so that's it for the information that I wanted to provide, but I can take some questions if you have any for the next few minutes.
Thanks, Daniel. I think there was a question in here. It flew by, so let me see.
Let me see.
Oh, from Jean Tom, it says, per the slide, the student would take test 623R again.
Okay, slide take. Okay, let me back up. Okay, so for this form, so this was 923, but it would be the same for 623. If someone scored that 204 hollow diamond, and you decided that you weren't going to accept that score, that you wanted to retest them right away, if that was your decision, then you would move them down to level A. However, if you accepted it, which is totally valid, so you don't have to retest, and then the student gets instruction, and then after a certain number of hours of instruction, you go to post-test them, you would, oh, I see the confusion here. You would give them the parallel form. So not 923R, that's just a typo here, sorry. There would be a 920. If they took 923, you're going to give them 924 when they post-test. If they took 924, then you would give them 923. So just the parallel form. That's what you would do.
I'm sorry, can I ask a real quick question on the
Yes.
steps? When you said accept or not accept, is there a time frame?
No, there's not a time frame. It's just like it's testing like usual. So it's the same with the conservative estimate score, like on the upper end with the black diamond. Most people just accept the score, right? But there are some programs that do not, and so it's your choice to retest or not at that point.
So we could give, if they took a C test and they got the open diamond, we could at the next testing round give them a B test. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Oh, so move them down a level. So if you, it would not be recommended, because if you want to see or give them a chance for even greater improvement, then we would say keep them at the level just because they've had instruction now. I mean, you technically could move them down. You would just have to manually do that.
So the first test, I'm sorry, the first test with the diamond, open diamond,
Yeah.
would not count as their first test. The test after that would count as their first. Is that correct?
Like if it's a new student, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah. So if it's a new student and they take the test and they get this 204 open diamond, I mean, that would be a pre-test score. So that could qualify for one. Um, I mean, regardless of your choice for post-testing. Or if you tested them again right away, I mean, that would again then set their current score if they scored differently.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, anyone else with a question for Daniel? I don't see any others in the chat.
Yes, this
Oh,
is
go ahead.
Lisa. Can post tests with diamonds be proxied for the coming new year?
I believe so. But I think we'd have to just follow up just to confirm that, unless someone else from CAS is here and knows that information. Yeah.
So who do we have to connect with?
I think Jay would be a great person to connect with, but we can definitely provide the information soon because this is not rolling out until July 1st. So we are going to be providing a lot more information just for the field, just about how it's all going to work and hopefully answer any questions that you have. So definitely more information is forthcoming. At this point, we're just trying to get the word out so that people are aware that the change is coming and go over just generally how, it will function.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyone else? And the chat looks pretty quiet too, so I think that's it. And then we can always get back to you with questions, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much, Daniel.
All right, thank you. Take care. Bye.
Okay. All right, so let me share my screen again. Okay, so moving forward. Okay, next is CDE update. So the latest WIOA state network meeting was May 5th, and you can watch that recording at this link. Remember, after this meeting, I will be emailing out the recording with all the slides. And once you receive the slides, you'll be able to click on the links on the slides. So this is the link for the recording. The next link is for a list of statewide WIOA network meetings. We have one more left before the Summer Institute, which is June 2nd at 1 p.m. And you can register for that here. Okay, so just some housekeeping. Adult Education Program Immigrant Integration. So the California state legislation, this is SB 670. It requires adult education to report measures related to immigrant integration. So it better defines immigrant integration activities for the purposes of this implementation. And again, there's a link here that you can click on later for more information. And this is a screenshot of the immigrant integration goal areas. It is also the list of the 231 and 243 funded co-ops. All right, this one, the immigrant integration indicators, this is a CAPE summary. And so if you notice in the red circle here, this is the number that you can see in TE, the ones that pass the immigrant integration indicators, the I3s, in your report. And here's another screenshot of a report. The I3 is here, and so these past immigration integrated indicators, the I3s, and you can see by categories. So ESL, ELL, ABE, ASE, CTE, workforce prep, and all the others here. Okay, so this is the CAPE I3 summary. So again, another way to look at this information through TE. So people who passed, who didn't, who took which tests. Okay. And the last summary. So this is another chart that you can get from a report that you can get from TE for WIOA 2 I3 summaries. And we do have TE trainings where you can get to the bottom of how do I get that report. So, and they also, CASAS also has TE office hours where you can attend and have your specific questions answered. So those meetings are listed on the CASAS website. So if you ever have any questions, you can go ahead and look there, either attend a training, different levels of training from beginning to more advanced, and also their office hours that they have every week, I think. Maybe it's every other week. But they do have office hours. So, okay, moving right along to civic participation and IELCE. All right, so the IELCE report and plan, the plans have been submitted, and agencies should have heard at least once from their reviewers. If they're not actively reviewing and going back and forth with you yet, you should have at least received an email saying, "Hello, I'm your reviewer. I will get to your review as soon as I can." So hopefully everyone has gotten that, at least that initial email. And so the rating scale, remember there are three. So one is adequate, and number two is adequate with CDE review. So this one means that one or more programs is rated adequate, and one or more programs is rated not adequate. And then the last one, the last category is not adequate. So this is agencies with reports rated not adequate. So they may receive targeted technical assistance. So that is a meeting with your reviewer, your program specialist, your CDE consultant, and whatever team that you have at your agency that that is running this program to help us understand your program better, and also for us to help you to improve your program. So that is the targeted technical assistance. You may not have to have a TTA, but if you do, that is the purpose of those TTAs. One thing to note here is that if you have zero enrollment, we don't have a time machine. We can't go back into the past and change enrollment numbers. So unfortunately, if you had zero enrollment in any programs, we cannot change that. And so that's seen as it cannot be improved. And so it can only be rated as not adequate, right? Okay, so selecting and downloading co-ops into TE, the last day to add, edit, or delete was April 30th, 2026. So please check and make sure that all your co-ops you have assessed in this program year have been selected and downloaded into TE. The download part is sometimes the easily forgotten step. So please make sure that you have downloaded them into TE so you can report out your results. The co-op system will roll over to 26-27 on May 31st in preparation for the next program year. All right, so civic participation in IELCE co-op selection. So July 1st, 2026, the next program year co-op selection process opens. And so the first time you enter the CASAS website to make your selections, you will see the previous year's selection. Okay, so it'll automatically show up. And you can select what your agency had selected the previous year, or you can remove those selections based on your current student needs assessment. Be sure to select any option 2 or 3 co-ops each year to keep them active. Click on continue the selection process to add other co-ops. So if you have other co-ops that were not on your list from the previous year, you can add them. It just need to click continue first. Okay, and then when you're all done, when all selections are complete, please click go to checkout, and it is in red. Okay, moving on to the FAQ for proxying tests. The question is, may I use CASAS post-test administered in 25-26 as pretests for summer school 26-27. So CASA standardized tests administered between May 1st and June 30th may be rolled over into the 26-27 program year. So proxy tests are given a date of July 1st so that they count for the 26-27 program year. So they can be used as a pretest for the new program year. And the FAQ is down here in the link at the bottom. And more about summer school. So for option 1 pre-approved co-ops for summer school programs, which will complete 30 hours of instruction and post-test on or before June 30th, you can use the 25-26 pre-approved co-ops and select them. Hopefully you have selected them already if you're running a summer school that will end on or before June 30th. For summer school programs, which will begin instruction before or after July 1st and then complete 30 hours of instruction and post-testing in July or August, then you need to use the new 26-27 pre-approved co-ops and select them on July 1st, 2026. So the system, the co-op selection system it will roll over into the 26-27, but it will not be open for you to select new ones for the next program year until July 1st. So that's the first day you can select them for 26-27. All right, more on the summer school. So how do I select co-ops for summer school? For option 2 and option 3 co-ops. So if your agency uses an option 2 or an option 3 co-op, you can use the 25-26 approved co-op for option 2 and option 3 that you selected in 25-26 for summer school 26-27. Okay, and again, there's the link to the FAQ at the bottom there. All right, and then the EL Civics webpage update on July 1st, 2026. So all documents on the EL Civics page will be updated for the program year 2026-27 on July 1st, 2026. So to select co-ops for program year 26-27, you should first check the revisions to co-ops. So there's a link here to the revisions to co-ops document for co-op updates. So to mention a few new updates, we have a new Civic Objective 77 for education. This is specific for paraeducators. So co-op 77.1 is to demonstrate the language and literacy skills necessary to effectively participate in workforce training in paraeducation. So this is a brand new one that we found that there was a need for this type of co-op. So that's our new one. So please consider using it if you have a paraeducator training program at your agency. And other updates that have been made to co-ops this year, they'll be listed in green on this revisions to co-op document. And we do have a revision to mention to co-op 30.5 task 1. It's only the language that has been updated, not the points or anything. So if you're using this co-op, not to worry, everything is the same. It's just that your options are expanded just a little bit with this new language. So 30.5 task 1, order a prescription refill using an automated system. So our wording before regarding the automated system was a little bit dated, so we updated that portion of it. So the directions now say, given an agency-created scenario and prescription label, student will refill a prescription through currently available methods, such as phone, automated instructions, chatbot, and/or website form. And students will demonstrate understanding of how to follow 6 instructions and the ability to respond appropriately by pressing the correct buttons, typing the correct information, and/or speaking the correct commands. And the assessor will watch the student's action and complete a checklist to record the responses. So the number of things that the students have to do does not change. It's still 6. It's just expanding the types of examples given as the automated system. And again, you can click this link to the revisions to co-ops to see the actual change yourself. Let's see. And we have a revision for the next year that is planned for 26-27. We are going to be updating co-op 33.8 to include these three elements. We have several different ones in 33 that have parts of these, but not all three altogether. So we had a request from an agency to put these three tasks together in one co-app. So 33.8 will be task 1, complete a job application for beginning low and intermediate low. Task 2, create a resume. This is for intermediate high to advanced. And then the last one, task 3, role play a job interview. And that's for all levels beginning low to advanced. And again, this one will be a revision for 26-27. And I just want to mention these two revisions, the one previous on the previous slide, 30.5 and also 33.8. These were suggestions, requests that came from agencies themselves that, they were using the co-app and they thought, well, maybe it would be better if, So if you find yourself in that kind of situation, oh, I wish it could do this, or I wish the language said this. If you have any suggestions or requests, or maybe even if you find an error or some type, we do have 201 separate co-apps. So, with your eyes, we can go through any sort of error to correct that, and also any updates that you think might help with the co-apps. So please send an email to elcivics@casas.org, and we can take a look at your request or your need for different or updates to our co-apps.
Bethany, can I say something?
Sure.
I think that's really important, especially for the 70s, which are the ones that we've created for the IET programs, the ones that are kind of training specific. Because if you're trying to implement an IET program, I know sometimes the complaint is the students don't have time to be in 3 classes. But if the co-app is really closely related to the content of the training program, then it's just part of their training, and you can assess that co-app without a lot of additional instruction. It's just kind of part of the whole thing. And so if you've got a training program and there isn't a related co-app, CASAS would be really happy to work with you to develop something.
Exactly. And perfect wording, Portia, because my next slide is about developing new co-apps. So we have had a request for a new phlebotomy co-app because a lot of agencies are starting they have a phlebotomy training program but there is not a specific co-app related to that, which, as Portia mentioned, would make it easier, less time consuming to teach a co-app if it's actually related to the training. So we are trying to create a new phlebotomy co-app. And so if you're interested in being part of the focus group, please email me at sfitzpatrick@casas.org. We do have an initial meeting set up at the Summer Institute. So if you're going to be at the Summer Institute, you're welcome to come also. It's going to be on Wednesday, June 17th. So again, if you want any details for that, please email me and I can send you the information.
And Stephanie, one more point about that is we know that the new RFA is going to have a focus on bringing IET to ABE and ASE. So if we keep all of that in mind, developing these co-apps now will really help us with implementing the new requirements of the new RFA.
Exactly. Thank you, Portia. Okay, and so just to mention the ELCivics Exchange, this is a repository of ELCivics materials that you can use. Agencies have generously shared their materials and they've been made 508 compliant. So, the licenses are copyright free. So, all we ask is that you credit the original agency that created the materials, used with permission or updated with permission from, whatever agency, and then the date, the year. Right now we have 24 sets of materials. And including the new OTAN resources, we have 33.7 employment for the advanced level, 1.6 banking for the advanced level also. And we also have more materials to be added soon. And there is going to be a Summer Institute presentation by OTAN talking about these new materials from OTAN. So the link to the ELCivics Exchange is here, the elcivics.otan.us. And then some instructions on how to access these new resources. So it's officially housed on the California Adult Education Canvas Commons, and it's a subset of the Canvas Commons. What you need to do is have your agency complete a one-time form to gain access. And then what's there is the EL Civics as well as other OTAN and agency resources. So you can visit this Canvas page for more information. This link here, California Adult Education Canvas Commons. Okay, and if you are developing new co-op instructional materials, please consider making them accessible. So that's what I meant by 508 compliant. It's there. We have an accessibility guide on our website to help you through the process of making it accessible. You can also contact Anthony Burek at OTAN. He's volunteered to help anybody who's developing materials to make them accessible. And then please consider submitting them to the EL Civic Exchange so we can share your materials with the entire adult education network.
Stephanie, do you remember how many downloads we've had to date? Was it something like 50,000 or?
Yeah, something like that. It was kind of
Yeah.
crazy. I was like, wow, that's a lot of people downloading a lot of materials just from the EL Civics Exchange. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is citizenship preparation. So, Portia.
Thank you, Stephanie. Next slide. We're not going to talk very much about, thank you, about CIT today because the CIT certification and recertification modules are closed for now. They'll reopen to CIT certifiers on July 1st and recertifiers in early January. But the government and history for citizenship test is available. That's a listening test. It is currently based on the 100 questions from the USCIS, and it has already been updated to reflect the 128 questions. However, it is in field testing right now, and we do not have a date by when that will be ready. They just have to have enough field testing that they can then release it. It can be given remotely, and it's not a pre-post test. Students need a pre-post test in order to earn a payment point, but it is a one-time test. And if the student scores at 206 or above, they receive a pass and a payment point. If they don't pass, you can give them additional instruction and then test them with the alternate form. And again, if they score 206 or above, then they are eligible for the payment point. And the next one, Stephanie.
I think that was it.
That was it. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen with the government and history once the new test comes out because it's not a pre-post test. I'm going to guess that CASAS will have an overlap period, but I don't really see what it would matter if you tested them once with the old test, once with the new test. They just need to get 206. But there'll be more information about that. I was hoping we'd know by the Summer Institute, but I'm not sure that we will. Thanks, Stephanie.
Okay, thank you, Portia. All right, and on to other information. So this is our last network meeting for this program year before the Summer Institute. So we do have a date for the fall. Our next meeting will be August 26, 2026. And at that meeting, I will know more about the rest of the schedule for the 26-27 program year. But the first meeting for the 26-27 program year will be August 26, 2026. And so if you have anything that you would like to share or present, please let me know. And then also don't forget, please type your name and agency into the chat box. And also, if you have not registered yet, please go to this link, the CaliforniaAdultEdTraining.org, to register for the meeting. Okay, and then just to remind you, the Summer Institute is coming up. It's June 15th to June 18th. At the regular Hyatt Regency Orange County in California. So if you haven't already and you're thinking about going, please register for the conference and we'd love to see you there. So we have the link here on this slide to register. So hope to see you there at Summer Institute. All right, so does anyone have any questions? I haven't been looking at the chat, but let's see. Okay.
Sai, in your comment, you said you confirmed the low end or open diamond score can be used for proxy. Can you tell us anything more about that? Maybe Sai's not here anymore. No. Maybe she got an email. Oh, you got one from Jay. The low end diamond is good to proxy for next year. Thank you.
Okay. And Paul, I'm assuming that you got an answer for you. You didn't get a contact yet about your report, but I see a thumbs up, so I'm assuming you're okay. Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to unmute and ask their question using your voice?
Hi, I have a quick question.
Sure.
So I'm new in my role as a program specialist for ESL, and so I haven't done some of these reports. I'm aware of them, but haven't done them. When you say option 2 or option 3 co-op, I'm unfamiliar with what that means.
So option 2, option 3 are if you have a need for a co-op that's different, that has different tasks than what we have listed.
Okay.
There is a way to cobble together different things that's specific just for your agency.
Okay. Other question related is my director is new to adult ed. This is his first year, and so in terms of selecting co-ops and all of that component, I believe he has access, but is there a need to at the agency level designate other like EL Civic coordinators, or what goes into that in terms of designating who has access to that part of the EL Civics?
Okay, so I believe up to 2 people can be designated as people with permission to select co-ops. So there's a EL Civics primary and EL Civics secondary. So
Okay.
if you find a need for, if the primary person is too busy and they want the secondary person to select the co-ops, that's a possibility. We just need to designate you in the system as that. So you would just need to send an email to elcivics@casas.org and we can get that straightened out. And then either person can select the co-ops for the program year.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then for your new administrator, there is a new administrator orientation, and I don't have the information right on the top of my
Yes.
desk here. There is an orientation for them that is across multiple days.
Right. And I think they've attended that. It's also just one thing doing an orientation and then and learning it all, and then another thing like when it comes around to actually having to do it. So I think they have attended, but I will verify.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks.
And Miranda, are you aware of the survey that you're supposed to survey the students for the topics that they're interested in before you submit co-ops?
Yes, we do a needs assessment every year. We, at least at my agency, we've done one like in-house. We haven't, like, is there a specific one from Casas that we are supposed to give? But we do,
No.
yeah, we do survey. Yeah, we have our own Google form and we survey our students before selecting. Okay.
Sounds good.
Is that something that we typically have to? I'm sorry, everything is getting our current person who kind of does the co-ops report. I don't know. It's kind of a bit of a unclear mess of who has access to what and what has been submitted. So I need to clarify with a couple of people. But is that something that typically gets submitted along with the selection? Is the needs assessment report? Okay, I didn't think so.
So there is a needs assessment form that needs to be filled out. It's an electronic form that you can get on the CASAS website, but we just ask that you have it on file in case we ask for it. And if there's problems down the road and we're like, well, where did it go wrong? We can we have a paper trail of what exactly was going on at your school. So that's why we ask that you fill but that you do not need to send that into CASAS. Just have it at your agency, tucked away wherever you have, whether it's electronic or, you print it out on paper and you write it, just to have it on file, just in case.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else? No? Okay. All right, so then we are at the end of our meeting. Thank you very much for attending, and I hope to see many of you at the Summer Institute. Again, remember, this is our last meeting for the program year. Our next one will not be until August 26th. So hopefully, if not at the Summer Institute, I will see you on August 26th. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording, and then if there's anybody else who would like to ask another question off the official record, you're shy. Anyway, I can do that and stay on for a few minutes if you have any questions. Okay. Again, thank you for coming.
I have a real quick question. Used to be 236 was the highest that you could get and count as a CASAS score as a pretest. Is it 238 now? If somebody gets more than 238, they're not going to get the EL Civics any longer. Is that correct? Or is it over 236?
So the test score doesn't have any effect on whether you get pay points for EL Civics. The only requirement that we have is that they have a pre and post test. And so the gain or anything from that does not affect whether they get payment points or not.
Yeah, I know in the past that's absolutely correct. I thought that this year, those higher level students, if somebody got a 240, they were not going to get the EL Civics benchmark. So that's not true. I misunderstood.
That's not true.
Okay.
So the reason we mentioned that is that you could, I guess we didn't have that slide this time. So so that you could have them co-enrolled in a ESL class and then a CTE or ABE ASE class so that they could take the other test so that you could get those payment points from the learning gains, because the learning gains on the ESL, they've already topped out.
Right,
so if you wanted to do the learning gains and get the payment point that way, they would need to be registered and enrolled in an ABE ASE class so that they could take that and get the learning gain from that. But for the ESL side, the score level, it does not matter.
Okay.
So as long as they have a pre and post test, they can payment points.
Okay, super. Thank you. Thanks, Stephanie.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So let me go ahead and stop the recording.